to Christmas morning. It's not actually Christmas for me as I'm recording this, obviously, but I am preparing a little bit for our Christmas celebration. I'm not actually doing any kind of cooking demonstration or anything like that. I promise I would never consider myself qualified for such a thing, although I do enjoy Food Network and all of that. But I'm working on baking a tradition for my family for Christmas. The simple crumb cake from my grandmother's recipe, a coffee cake. We call it a crumb cake. We also call it a happy birthday Jesus cake. And it is just that. It's very simple. Basic ingredients: flour, milk, egg, sugar, baking powder, vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon. Nothing extravagant, nothing difficult. But I remember growing up, we always had this cake for Jesus' birthday party, so to speak, and we'd always have it at Christmas Eve night around the manger, and that's what we do now with my daughter Ariana, and let her blow out the candle. Obviously, the youngest kid at my grandmother's house, whenever we would all gather at Christmas, would always get to blow out the candle for the baby Jesus. And for some, it may sound silly. It's a simple little celebration, and I'll be honest, I don't even like celebrating my own birthday. And I never really thought much about this, except for some reason, whenever I think about celebrating Christmas, there's two things that come to mind as sort of crucial to the celebration. One is certainly the Christmas Eve candlelight service and the opportunity to worship and keep our focus as we there's two things that always come to mind when I think about the Christmas celebration for my family anyway. One is the Christmas Eve candlelight service, always starting the celebration out in worship, in a reminder of the light that comes into the darkness and spreads. And then that Christmas Eve night before going to bed, a lot of people read the night before Christmas and all that sort of thing. And we usually do read a Christmas story or something like that, but we also have this cake and have the little birthday party for Jesus. And I talk about this here today because it's a reminder to me that our celebrations can be extremely simple. It's not about all that we put into the preparation and the work, all of the shopping and the cooking and the baking and all the stuff that goes into it. One of the most tragic things that I hear sometimes from people is the idea that just don't feel like celebrating this year. Now, sometimes that comes because there's grief or loss in the family, and maybe spending Christmas alone for the first time in a long time, and that's really hard. Other times it's just a sense of nostalgia and memory of when the kids were little, and I hear people all the time, especially grandparents who aren't necessarily close to their grandkids, or others that don't have kids around the house at Christmas, saying, it's not even worth decorating anymore, it's not worth doing anything, because the Christmas is really just for the kids. And here's the thing. This cake is something that I've been doing every year of my life for Christmas. And Mackenzie and I didn't have kids until 2014. We were married in 2000. So all those Christmases, we kept having that cake, kept decorating, kept having... we didn't do the birthday party kind of thing like we would for the kids, but we always had that simple little celebration. That reminder that there's something set apart, something special about this night, about this day. And Jesus didn't just come for the kids. He didn't just come for the party. He came for every one of us. And if anything, for those that feel like, I just don't feel like celebrating, you are the most important person that Jesus came for. He came to the people who couldn't celebrate. He came to the people who could no longer sing the songs of Zion. He came for the people who were broken and hurt and down and out. And so, whether it's a cake or a little birthday party, or whether it's a worship service at church, or whatever it is, some family tradition that you had, maybe something that you remember when you were growing up, or that you remember when your kids were little. Hold on to it. Hold on to those moments of celebration. Because we have something so much greater to celebrate. Jesus said in order to come to Him, we have to become like children. Not childish, but childlike. And if kids know anything, it's how to celebrate. It's how to be joyful and excited about everything. Even things that we just think, oh my gosh, I can't wait until this is over. And the kids are just excited and joyful and celebrating. I think Jesus wants us to have that kind of life. That kind of joy, that kind of abundance. And I can be honest and say this whole Advent journey has helped me in that. There's a lot of stress in life for myself, as for many of you. But this Advent journey has been a reminder to look for those glimpses of joy. Those glimpses of the presence of Christ that just make you smile. Like we talked about in the rejoicing. And they remind us that we need to celebrate. Because if God coming to earth for our sake, just to be with us, isn't reason to celebrate, even in such a small, simple little way, I can't imagine anything else in life worth throwing a party for. Can't imagine anything else in life worth celebrating. So I hope that you have family, friends, someone around that you can celebrate with. If not, go to your neighbors. Just like Jesus said, if nobody comes to the party, go and find people and bring them in. Anybody. Maybe take them a little cake or some Christmas cookies. Invite them to the celebration. Maybe you'll find out that celebrating together, you have more in common than you think. You can forge new friendships and new opportunities to share the love of Christ. But no matter how small, no matter how simple, no matter how silly it may seem, take some time to celebrate today and each day that Christ is born for you and for me. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come and we thank you for this season of celebration. But we also know that sometimes it's hard to celebrate. And sometimes we get so overwhelmed because it feels so complicated. But Lord, to celebrate is simply to set aside those moments to remember what you did for us, to remember who you are in our lives, and to be thankful. And so, Lord, help us to honor those traditions that remind us of the joy that you have given us. And Lord, if we struggle, maybe give us some new traditions. If we can't spend Christmas with the people we used to for whatever reason, put new people in our lives that can fill us with joy that we can celebrate with together. Lord, and may this spirit of celebration last far beyond today, far beyond this season. But Lord, may we live truly as a Christmas and Easter people. We celebrate the joy of the Lord.